I'm Tony Pulis.
And I'm Mick McCarthy, and welcome to the Managers.
You took a little bit of stick because of your size. How strong was Dad then behind you?
He was massive. He was probably my biggest critic when I was growing up.
Yeah.
And then he turned into my biggest supporter when I was playing.
So Fabio, no ketchup, no sauces and all that. Do those kind of rules actually annoy the squad?
It just pissed everyone off.
With the Man United, the Liverpool, the connection, and then you got Chelsea down there. Was there any animosity?
The United players sit together, Chelsea players sit together, and Liverpool players sat together. I look at the England squad now and I think that's a team. I'm not sure at that time it felt.
And you need that, Pete, to win.
You made the move to Liverpool. How different was that transition?
I just knew I'd arrived at something massive and desperate to succeed. And then I went through this period of not scoring goals for freaking ages.
Right. Ton, good to see you, lad. I guess today is one of football's biggest characters. I'm not sure if that means personality or height-wise, but anyway.
I go both.
And he's also the very first player to join us here on the Managers. And there's a very good reason for that. He's here to spill the secrets on my co-host, Tony Pulis.
He won't do that.
I think he will. It's the one and only Peter Crouch. Welcome, Pete.
Thank you. I'm good, thanks. Yeah, thanks for having me. It's nice to be on someone else's podcast.
Well, it's a pleasure, mate. Anyway, let's sort it out. Is it Peter, is it Pete, or is it Crouchy?
I think, Tony, you've always called me Pete, haven't you?
Yeah.
But, in the football world, I think Crouchy's the kind of what I've been called for a long time.
Yeah, I just heard him address you as Pete.
He's always called me Pete.
Everybody else calls you Crouchy.
Yeah.
So.
He's always called me Pete. Yeah.
I bet you've been called worse than
I
both.
fucking not. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
You and
Definitely
me,
by him as well.
And by me, let me tell you, I'm sure. Let's rewind to the early days of your career. You worked with some big names: Jerry Francis, Graham Taylor, Harry Redknapp, Rafa Benitez, some names there.
Just before that, how big an influence was Dad?
Yeah, massive. Yeah. I think certainly the biggest influence of my career was with that. Definitely.
Yeah.
Just loved the game of football, and he was very good with me. Taught me, a lot about discipline as well. Because I think certainly that the ages kind of between 14 and 19, a lot of lads can lose their way, right? And I think he kind of put the ball in my court. It's like, you can go out with your mates, but do you think the other lads who are playing tomorrow are doing that? And he kind of made me think, about it rather than saying you're staying in. It was more my decision, things like that. And yeah, little things like that. He was very good with me. He knew the game inside out as well, so he was a huge influence. But with regards to the managers, I think you always have, young. When you're a youngster, like the youth team managers, and they have a massive influence as well. Des Bolpin, I think
I know Des
was
really well.
massive for me.
Yeah.
Certain managers at school and stuff. But Graham Ricks obviously had me at Portsmouth. He was a big influence, and Jerry Francis, of course. I was at QPR as a youngster, 9, 10, 11 years old, and when Jerry and Des, who was youth development officer at the time, they went to Tottenham. I went with them, and then I never made a first team appearance there. But Jerry went back to QPR, and I went back with him. So you could say, without Jerry and Des, I don't know where I'd be really. So yeah, they would probably.
Dads are great, aren't they? I think my dad had the biggest influence. He used to take us into the park playing football as kids, and in the house, curtains shut. Go there with the goals, all that. And of course, his biggest influence he had, he thought I wouldn't make it because he think it was a tough career. So that was great because I did everything to prove him wrong, Charlie. But he was the happiest man alive.
Was he your best mate?
Yeah, without doubt. I mean, we do everything together. Football-wise, it was, and I trusted his judgment on games. I'd always go to him and he'd give me an very honest appraisal. Whether I did well or not. But that's like you say. You just want to please him, right? So I want to play well. And
so in the early stages of your playing career, obviously you took. It's been noted that you took a little bit of stick because of your size and because of this and because of that. How strong was Dad then behind you? How much did he help you then, Pete?
Yeah, he was massive. It was amazing. Like, he was probably my biggest critic when I was growing up. Yeah. And then he turned into my biggest supporter when you needed it. When I was playing. Because, there's a lot of noise, as you know, from outside. You're never as as good as people say you are. You're never as bad as people say you are, right? And I think there's a happy medium somewhere. And he became kind of fiercely loyal. Even when I'd had a bad game, he'd tell me I played well. It kind of went full circle. It was like, I was like, no, I played badly today. I think it's just what I needed at the time.
Yeah.
So what about your parenting skills? And are you equally as supportive and as telling your kids what they should be doing?
You know what? Like
I've got to ask you now.
Mick, Abby's the boss. Whatever he says, Abby's the boss.
I have to say, you know, with Abby, there's only one manager that she always asks after, and it's you. Just because Tony, I have to say, was amazing with the families and you know, and the people, as well as being a top manager. He was fantastic for me and my family when and Abby's always saying, "I'll say hello to Tony for me."
No, that's nice. Hey, listen, they are the bosses because he comes in. It's Debs. Debs does everything for him. Can we get Tony on the computer? Oh, get Debs to do that. Can we book him a train ticket? Debs will do that. So. Nothing's changed, mate. Yeah. Tough times you had. So the manager just talked about that. So in 2005, you reunited with Harry Redknapp. For anybody who don't know, then it's at Southampton after working together at Portsmouth. Harry always seemed to have a massive belief in you. And what was that relationship like then?
Yeah, it was brilliant. I mean, listen, you know, everyone goes on about, you know, how many times you signed me, but you sold me a few times as well. But he was brilliant. Yeah, I think certainly in the early days, I think he came in as kind of director of football at Portsmouth, and then he came in as manager. And then obviously, yes, I played under him at Southampton when I was there already, and he came in, and at Tottenham as well. A huge influence. He just had tremendous amount of belief in me, I think.
Did he always sell you for more than he paid for you?
Not to us.
No, maybe not. No,
you know, that is a skill. If you can buy somebody, get the best out of them and sell them on for a profit, that's brilliant. And then take him again. So
yeah, well, that's it. I mean, even with you know, at Tottenham there, like we had such a good side, and you know, at Portsmouth it was a real shame that what happened there because we had such a good side.
Yeah. We'd have some players.
I remember being 2-0 up at Fratton Park against AC Milan. They had to bring Ronaldinho off the bench to equalise in the final minutes. We were going away to teams and destroying them. You know, we had Montari and Diarra in midfield, and myself and Jermaine Defoe up front, Sol Campbell, Distan, you know, David James in goal. It was an incredible team, and I just thought we were going to go to the next level. And unfortunately, you know, for the reasons, you know, with the owner and the finances, it just all unravelled.
Obviously, you know, I've got a good relationship with Harry, and I still think the Tottenham team he had is the best Tottenham team I've ever seen. Now, is it 61, 62 or 60, 61, where they did the double? The double, yeah. The push and run team. I've never seen that with White and those players, McCarthy and all them. I didn't see them play. But in my time in football, as a teenager all the way through all the Tottenham teams, some good teams, I thought Harry's team.
You know what, I kind of agree. I think there was a team where they were, you know, with Harry Kane and Son and Dele Alli when he was on fire. I mean, that was a really good time. Solid look back as well. But I do think that team we had was the most exciting team I've probably ever been a part of. You know, as a centre forward, I had Bale on one side. I've got Aaron Lennon on the other. I've got Modric and Van der Vaart behind.
I know.
You know, defensively we were solid with Dawson and Ledley King. You know, the fullback.
You know, that sounds crazy to me now that you've got those players. You
know,
I've watched it, of course. I've seen it, but you forget. And then you're talking about it now, thinking, wow.
Unbelievable, like, and I said, you know, all I've got to do is try and keep up. And these, you know, Aaron Lennon, you couldn't stop Aaron Lennon. You know, he'd face you up, and you know what he's going to do, but you couldn't stop it. And Bale just, it was in the turning point of him being, you know, a shy left back.
Because his transformation was incredible.
Unbelievable.
It was almost talked about having him on loan at one point.
Yeah, I rung Harry up actually to take Bale on loan.
And I think they would have taken it. You know, I think at that time he was really struggling for confidence.
Where did it go wrong for him?
I know, yeah. You know what though? In training, we would say, like, all the players are like, he's the best player in training every day, and it's like, why can't he? And the way I look at it was, it's almost like playing Cristiano Ronaldo at right back. You know, I think he's going to get cut open defensively, you know.
Was it confidence within Pete?
Yeah, I think he had that run where he didn't win games, and you know, he kind of, like, on his back. But then when the confidence grew, it felt like he kind of became a man, and he would win games on his own for us. And what he did in the Champions League against Maicon, who was probably one of the best right backs in the world at the time. That was the shift. I think he scored a hat-trick in the San Siro. He destroyed him over 2 games.
Yeah, and a magnificent player in the end.
Went on.
He looked like a shy guy who wasn't going to do anything. Maybe loan him out to what he has achieved. Fantastic.
Unbelievable.
Not bad players to play with, mate. All you got to do is get yourself in the box.
That's what I said.
Get between the goals.
Get
in the 6-yard box and tap him in.
Jim Smith worked with Harry. What was he like? The pair of them together.
Yeah. Well, that was it. We had it was at Southampton when it was Harry and Jim, and I remember the song, and he was brilliant. I mean, I think he was very much kind of. I didn't have a lot to deal with him because all I remember of Jim was coming at the end of a session. Come on, lads, we'll have a tenner and chip the crossbar. And he was always very good at it with his cap on. But I mean, they were a great foil together. But you know more about Jim Smith, really.
Jim was an absolute legend.
We
can't tell stories about Jim on this podcast.
I was playing against
They're
his
the ones I want to hear.
He was a great character. Just playing against his teams and then managing just very early on in my early career. But he was a great guy. Great character, yeah.
Great football man.
Yeah.
Great football man.
Southampton were relegated in end of 2004-05. You made the move to Liverpool under Rafa Benitez. How different was that transition? I would imagine there was a huge difference in that.
Yeah, there was.
Harry to Rafa. Harry and Jim to
Rafa,
I suppose.
But also, I suppose the size of the club, like no disservice to Southampton, but at the end of that season, obviously it was a bad season for a club, obviously culminating in relegation. But I have to say Harry and Jamie as well, because Jamie had signed for Southampton at the time. They were the only people kind of pushing me to play for England. They were like, "Look, we've trained with this boy. We know he's good enough," and people were kind of laughing at that suggestion, really. So I have a lot to thank both of those, and I'll never forget that what they did, really, because they were the first to kind of push that. For me to get into the English.
It's great when you get the support from managers, isn't it? And it's not always evident to everybody else. I know that they can do it publicly, but it's when you're training and giving you support, telling you, helping them, coaching you, showing you what you need to be doing, but then believing in you then as well, which is
and that's what I had with Harry, you know, non-stop, and it ended up with the move to Liverpool, and like you say, they were very different characters, Rafa and Harry. Harry was someone I could go and speak to, like always like a father figure, at any time, and he was very good as people person. Whereas Rafa wasn't really like that. He was very much kind of aloof. I'll always thank Rafa till the day I die because he signed me for the Liverpool, and I just have the best memories there. Had the best time. The size of the club you don't realise until I think you walk through the door. So I have a huge amount of respect for Rafa. But
what was the difference, Pete? Everything, or
club-wise,
specifically? Can you put your finger on what was the difference?
What
makes Liverpool that?
Yeah, the history. Just, when you walk, I remember walking to Anfield, me and my dad, we're big football people, right? I've watched it all my life. My dad's watched it all his life. We walked into Anfield, we walk into the trophy room, we see the European Cups, and you see the memories on the wall all around the place, and you think about the sign and the pitch and what's happened there previously, and you're like, this is bigger than anything I've
from Shankly
so
all the way through.
Yeah, all the way through, and you get that aura around the place, and that's what I felt, and the kind of shadows in the hallway, if you like, and I just knew I'd arrived at something massive, and I just desperate to succeed. And then I went through this period of not scoring goals for freaking ages.
Can I just ask, how was Rafa then? When you went through, so I'm talking about support and encouragement.
Do you know what? He was brilliant.
Good,
unbelievable with me. Like he was actually saying to me, because I was playing well.
Yeah.
I was kind of doing too much. I think genuinely felt I was coming deep. Too deep, getting involved in the play. I wanted to do too much. I wasn't arriving in the box.
Can I ask you a question about it? Did you feel you had to do more because you were at Liverpool? You had to play better than you'd done at the other clubs, and they've signed you for the reason that what you were doing, you suddenly think you've got to do more.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
You've hit the nail on the head.
Instead of doing instead of being Peter Crouch, which got you the move, you end up trying to do other things.
100%. And I think I wanted to succeed so badly that I wasn't, like I say, I wasn't in the box at the right moments of snatching at things. And then I kind of ended up being more selfish and doing less work and positioning myself higher. And then the goals came. And then when the goals came, it was just the best feeling in the world.
Was that you doing that, or did Rafa mention it to you? Can you remember?
No, I think, in all honesty, I mean, he was happy with the role that I was playing.
Yeah.
And he kind of pulled me aside and said, "I've seen you kind of being a bit more selfish now." And it was a bit to and fro. And really, I tried to find a happy medium there somewhere, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, incredible memories, and it's such a special club and something that, you know.
How many years were you there, Crouchy?
3.5, I think. Yeah, it was Torres that put paid to that, unfortunately. He came in and hit it off with Stevie, and I was like watching my old girlfriend, you know.
I think you should be proud of that fact. If he took your place, that's like a tick.
Yeah.
That is, I think, because he was a player.
Oh my God, he came in and I was just like, obviously, you know, there was enough rotation, and I don't know whether something that does wrangle with me, I suppose, that over the years was he ended up leaving, and you know, I watched players that were playing up front there, you know, Voronin and Gog. No disrespect to them, but I felt that I was better than them, and I felt maybe if I'd have stayed, you know, I could have had a longer career at the club, because for me, there's only one way, and that was, you know, I don't feel that I kind of ever went to a bigger club than Liverpool. But
what about the players who were already there? What about the players who were sort of like born and bred and came through the system there? How influential were they in respect of, you know, setting standards that Liverpool adhere to?
Yeah, I think if you look around the best clubs at that time, like at Chelsea, you had JT, Frank Lampard. They were, you know, Chelsea, and obviously United had all of those players that came through the system, and Liverpool was Carragher and Gerrard, and you know, quite often I've said this previous, but I found myself trying to impress them more than the manager.
The manager, yeah,
because they set the standard so high. It was, you know, it must be a dream for a manager to have someone that cares that much about the club.
Yeah.
You know, I remember seeing, you know, a particular player, you know, because quite a lot after Houllier, there was a few French lads left that, you know, maybe weren't pulling their weight and maybe were a bit surplus to requirements. You know, they're digging them out and letting them know, you know, the manager doesn't even have to police it. It's like, hold on, you know, this is our club.
Brilliant.
You know,
I took one of those lads. I think I took Anthony Talick from Liverpool to Sunderland, and I ended up, we used to call him Stud. Not because he was sexual or anything like that. It's because he was always stood doing nothing. That's why we call him Stud. So anyway, we'll leave him. If he wants to ring it, can he sue me for that? I'm not sure. Let's talk about. He was, by the way. Let's talk about England anyway. Let's get off that subject. You played under both Sven, God bless him, and Fabio Capello. First off, what was it like working with Sven? Should that generation of players have achieved more under him, do you think?
Yeah, obviously there was Sven at first, and then Steve McLaren in the middle there, and then Fabio. But Sven was brilliant. Like, what I loved about Sven is that there was probably a bit, because I was a little bit different. You know, I mean, listen, we had Wayne Rooney and Michael Owen up front, right? And I was.
You are definitely different to those two.
There you go. Right, and I think there's an international player, if you like, a mould, and did I fit that mould? And I think there was a lot of people kind of suggesting that maybe not, but Sven was unbelievably, like, he was like, no, you'll be in every squad while I'm the manager. He really rated me, gave me so much belief. He was absolutely brilliant with me.
I met him a couple of times. He's a lovely guy.
I loved him.
Absolutely.
I genuinely
every day was Christmas Day with Sven.
Yeah, honestly, like, and you know, if anyone has the temperament to be England manager, it was him. Like, I remember some of the things that were coming out in the press, and I'm thinking, right, you know, he's going to come in here and I don't know if he's going to say he's leaving or what, and he come in, just doesn't even mention it, right? And it's like everyone's talking about it. It's on the news, everything. And, you know, we have a team meeting. I think, right, well, he's going to, I don't know, maybe he's going to retire from a position or comes in, doesn't even mention it. And I think someone said something at the end and he said this press, crazy. Water for ducks back, not bothered at all by it. And I think if you're going to be England manager, then, that's the way to deal with it.
Great attitude to have, if you can have that. I mean,
what was he like as a coach?
Yeah, he was good. I mean, he had coaches. He was quite quiet. And not as vocal as managers I've had in the past, but he kind of had something about him, and I really resonated with him, and the kind of
a man manager, Pete.
Yeah, my performances definitely. But I think there were some people that felt that it could have been more. There could have been more done maybe on the training field. So I think that the players we had, such class players, but it was. The Premier League was so aggressive in those days. It was hard
I've just read bits and pieces. I was never involved in any of that. So with the Man United, the Liverpool, the connection, and then you got Chelsea down there. Was there any animosity in the group from the different clubs?
There wasn't animosity.
Did they stick together? Did United players stick together? Did the Liverpool players stick? Did they come together and was everybody as one? Or was there a feeling in the camp, Pete, that it was, us and them?
I think, to answer your question, yes. I mean, the United players sit together, the Chelsea players sit together, and Liverpool players sat together. They were the biggest clubs at the time. Yeah. And I look at the England squad now, and I think that's a team. And I think, they look like a club. I'm not sure at that time it felt.
And you need that, Pete, to win.
Yeah, it's just those small details, right?
It was all those three clubs players that were vying for the same positions, though, wasn't it, as well?
Yeah.
So, there'd be a little bit of bitterness if one of them's being dropped and the other one's playing. And that's natural, I guess.
Did the managers ever confront that, Pete?
Not really, no. I don't think it was really addressed. It was, but I do think the England squad probably suffered, but I think the Premier League was better.
Yeah.
Because that rivalry and that I want to see, two teams that don't like each other, players that don't like each other, an aggressive. I think fans want to see that, and I think maybe the England squad's better now, but is the Premier League is competitive? I want to see teams going to war, and I don't know if we see that as much.
That's a good thing he's brought up. You look. Is the Arsenal team that Wenger had better than the team now? I'd say yes, because it's won things. The team now hasn't won things. Is the Man United team better?
On results, you can say so.
Is the Man United team better than what it was? Is the Chelsea team better than what it was? Is the Liverpool team, that might be a bit 50-50. Tottenham team, definitely, without a question of doubt, in my view. If you look at the top teams then and compare them to the teams now, how many of the teams in the top six clubs, or the more renowned top six clubs, are better now than what they were in your time?
Yeah, I think that's an interesting point. I do think the say the lower half of the league, kind of, would you say the bottom 12 or 10, whatever,
is stronger.
Is a lot stronger. I do. If you look at Bournemouth, the teams now that are coming into the league, there's more money to spend, I think, for those teams. They're not on a shoestring anymore. I don't think it's kind of closing. I know the
Bournemouth,
big teams,
Brentford, Brighton, they've all
unbelievable.
Excelled, haven't they,
they're good. They're tough games, all of them.
But other teams at the top six teams, how many of them from your time are better than?
No, I agree. I think I was only the argument's Liverpool.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't think with Chelsea, there's no way you can compare the two.
Interesting.
I think it's the difference as well. If whoever's chasing, if you think, with the greatest of regards and best wishes to Brighton, Brentford, Bournemouth, if they're in the top six, I doubt very much that Arsenal and Liverpool are looking behind them thinking, but if it was Man United, Man City, Chelsea at that time when they were the clubs in the top six, there were better clubs. They seemed like better clubs. Whether they're any better teams or not, I don't know, because those teams I've mentioned, they're flying at the minute.
Like that Chelsea team.
It's unbelievable.
And that United.
I thought there were better teams than ones now.
They're two of the best teams that we've seen. Arsenal, obviously under Wenger as well, when you had obviously the Henry, the Invincible team. Then moving on to the Chelsea team where you had Drogba, Robben and Duff. defensively so sound as well. And the Man United team under Alex Ferguson for so long was, I mean, they were unplayable at times.
Yes, yeah. It's amazing, really, because people don't, people they live for today and for tomorrow. Sometimes they don't look back and they talk about the Premiership being everything, and it is everything. It's the greatest league in the world and this, that and the other. But I still think that period of time, the clubs are much stronger. You look at the play, like you say, the Chelsea team were phenomenal when you have a look at it. Makelele, Ballack, Lampard in midfield. It's like frightening.
Going into those
Drogba
games
up front, you just John Terry, and then, you look at it, Mick, and you think, what a team that was.
They were good teams, weren't
Fabulous.
That reminds me of when I remember playing at Old Trafford against Spain, and I think it was Xavi, Iniesta, and maybe Busquets in midfield. And I remember, because I was the striker, they would just get round Xavi. What? So I'm trying to get tight to, he's just popping it to Iniesta. I don't think we touched the ball. I think we got some serious players in our team, but I mean they were on a different planet.
The Managers with Mick and Tony is powered by BOYLE Sports, the home of the early payout. And why is BOYLE Sports the home of the early payout, I hear you ask? Well, with BOYLE Sports, if the team you back goes 2 goals up, you win, job done, you're getting paid out. Singles, ACCAs, bet builders, it's all covered. And this means we need to reconsider a crucial game in your career, Tony. I'm talking, of course, about the 1999 playoff final, when your Gillingham team were 2 goals up with 5 minutes to play. Obviously, that means, in the eyes of BOYLE Sports, you have now won the Second Division playoff final, 1999. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And also, West Ham won the 2006 FA Cup final, which is great. And commiserations to Liverpool for not winning the 2005 Champions League. And obviously, now Gillingham have won the 1999 Second Division playoff final. Commiserations to Nicky Weaver and Manchester City. Yes, get paid out as a winner if your team goes 2 goals ahead, even if they win, lose or draw. 90 minutes only, applies to singles and multiples. 18 plus, T's and C's apply. Back yourself with BOYLE Sports, the home of the early payout. Head to boylesports.com or download the app to find out more.
So, Fabio, this is one, because it was a bit like when they went into Manchester United, and it was no ketchup, no sauces and all that. Was that a thing? From a player's perspective, do those kind of rules actually annoy the squad? It'd annoy the hell out of me, I'll tell you, as a player, because I'm thinking, hold on, I've got in the international team, I'm playing as an international, and they're telling me I can't have some tomato ketchup. Honestly, is it petty? I don't know. You tell me.
No, I agree totally with you. Like it just pissed everyone off. It was just I'm having toast and I haven't got any butter to put on it, right? But what I don't understand is you're going away in an England camp. Sometimes you're meeting up for 3 days. Sometimes you might meet up for 10. But you've got 8 months back at the club having butter, right, and ketchup. So I just that. It's not going to help if you want it. You're going to have it, right?
I think it's common sense. I think the obviously we're having a bit of a pop at a foreign manager coming in who's used to dealing with things differently than what he was. So you've got to give him some credit in respect of he's from a different country.
Fabulous manager.
But I've had periods where people are saying things, coaches say things, people who are running courses. I can remember being at Lillyshaw. And it was the time where Serie A was the top, all the Italian clubs, AC Milan, all them were flying. And we had a big seminar. And I think Charles Hughes got up and said, the Italian league is the best league in the world because they don't drink pints, they have a glass of red wine. And they don't have meat and potatoes, they eat pasta. And he brought this table up. And he said, look, the top 4 or 5 teams, look at them. And Jim Smith stood up and he went, Charles, are you saying that pasta is making them the top? Of course. He said, do the bottom teams not know about pasta then? And everybody just burst out laughing, Pete. And it was common sense.
Yeah.
Just common sense. And they move that common sense to try and make something out of nothing.
Well, I mean, I would say that the other one with alcohol was Wenger, of course, when he went into Arsenal. He did clamp down on that going out.
Yeah.
And I'd say Sir Alex at Manchester United did when he inherited that squad. Who I was out with a couple of once or twice, and they were good footballers, but they were great drinkers. They're very good. Anyway.
But again, that's common sense, Mick, isn't it?
It is, yeah. But anyway, Fabio, so no ketchup, no sauces, but he was a great manager.
Yeah, you know what, he was. It didn't work for him with England, unfortunately. But I had so much respect for him because of, I remember the AC Milan team from back in the day. And it was incredible manager, achieved so much. But he came in, it didn't really work. He had his own stamp on it. Obviously, he was very strict. Yeah, and he didn't care who he was speaking to. And I think that was why he was hired. I think there was a.
Did he call people by their surname?
Oh yeah, it was like Lampard, Gerrard.
I actually say I don't think we don't like that though. That's not something that's done in this country, is it?
No. It didn't really work. And I understand why the FA got him in, because it was very different to Sven. And I think everyone thought that maybe the players had more power than they should. And then he came in and it was very, very different. But it just didn't work, unfortunately.
We just got a question about the World Cup in South Africa. From the outside, it looked like everything went wrong. What was it like?
Great experience. I played at 2 World Cups, and I say played. I got about 3 minutes in the South Africa one, but it was a shame.
I
for
spent
me.
more times at games than you did. I was I was on the pundit. I was on the pitch.
Well, there you go. But 2006 that was an amazing experience for me, and I played in that one.
The great times. It's amazing. I know.
Loved it. And then, but 2010 just didn't work. Like I say, the reasons that with the manager, and I think you could see it wasn't working during the tournament like the way we were playing. And then he kind of went back and tried to help. Tried to do things.
Readdress things.
I say, the butter started coming in again, and it was catching up. We might have the odd beer in the evening, and it was like, hold on a minute. I think he realised things but it was too far gone, and we just didn't perform.
Yeah, it's a shame, but it does happen. Anyway, now, with question 10, which I've been looking forward to be honest. Fast forward to August 31st, 2011, the biggest move of your career. You joined Stoke City, Mr. Tony Pulis.
Be careful, Crouchy. I'm calling him Crouchy now. I'll call him Peter afterwards when he's kind to me.
You can say anything you like on this.
Save space.
Save space, yeah. These are not working. How did he convince you to sign then?
Yeah, I remember it was deadline day, and Spurs had signed Adebayor, and Harry was like, I think he was kind of playing the game a little bit. I think he would have liked to have kept me and Adebayor, but obviously there was no room for that. I wanted to play, and I spoke to Tony, and it was deadline day. I remember being up kind of near Stoke because I knew it might be imminent, and it was very late in the day, wasn't it? And I need.
Was it deadline?
Deadline day, really late. So I was kind of hovering near Stoke, and then the minute I got into the training ground, I was just a huge fan of Tony's. I know he's sitting here now. He's just a great person. I knew I'd get on well with him. I was 30 years old, and I knew, I still had really good years. I played another 8 years, so. And he was brilliant with me, and he was brilliant with my family. And like I say, it's not just a great manager.
Did your family move? Did you move up?
Yeah, we moved up. You moved near Cheshire.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I loved it. And it was an interesting discussion when I said, 1 minute we lived in London, and I said to Abby that we live in Stoke now. It was an interesting discussion, but you know what? She loved it.
Where did you live? Wilmslow-esque?
Yeah, kind of Cheshire way, Alderley Edge.
Alderley Edge.
I'll tell you one
nice part of the world.
behind the scenes while all this is happening. So Harry rings me up and he says, "Do you fancy Peter?" So I said, "Oh yeah, I'm blue, but we won't be able to afford him." So he says, "Well, I'm bringing someone in, and I think Daniel's desperate for this to happen." So I said, "Well, you come back," and I hadn't told Peter Coates by then. You come back and let me know what you can do, what you can't do. I told him what our best wages were and this, that, and the other. He went, well, that might be a problem. So if Daniel can sort it out, we're interested. Anyway, we get to a point where
You said
ring
that. So
Peter
can I just
up.
listen up here? Every transfer you've ever done, you've said that. By the way. Tight ass. Seriously, honestly.
So I ring Peter up, Peter Coates, who's like absolute wonderful, wonderful man. And I say, we've got a chance of getting Peter, bloody, bloody, blah. So he says, oh, what's his weight? I said, he's within the budget. We can do it within the budget. Oh, brilliant. But it's a bit late, ain't it? I said, he's waiting outside, Peter. He went, what? I said, he's waiting outside.
Brilliant.
Okay, no problems. Give me 2 minutes. So the phone went down. So I remember we were talking as you were, I was going, go to the training ground. No, go to the ground. Go to, and then he rings back. He's got one question from someone, most probably the chief executive. Peter's 30 and you want to give him 29, I think you were. You want to give him a 4-year contract. He said, and the money we're paying, do you think it's a good deal? I said, Peter, he's going to keep us in the league for the next 4 years. Do you think that's a good deal? He went, brilliant. Put the phone, sign him, put the phone down, and we did the deal.
And you did.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great time. I really loved it, and I loved being part of the Stoke team. That when you saw the fear sometimes in people's eyes, like it was. At times we'd play Arsenal. You'd think it was the banker, home banker. You think you're playing against Arsenal because it's just
Arsene Wenger's still having nightmares.
Yeah,
about
I mean,
seriously.
it was just the whole psyche. It was. I just loved watching people come to Britannia at the time, and just seeing the just visibly shrink, like, we're in a game today, and I think that was what we did so well.
Isn't it funny that, I mean, it's because of how they played and who they were and the players they had and what they would say about you. Because we'd come, I never had any fear of going there. I'd be thinking, we'll go down there and we'll have some long throws and we'll put corner kicks and we've got big fellas and we'll go and smash a few and we'll have a scrap with them. We get beat pretty regularly, but nevertheless. It wasn't through fear. It was because maybe you were better than us. You've been in the Premier League longer than us. But to turn up and be fearing of what's coming to you, which I think you could actually smell it sometimes.
People have talked about the long throw over the past couple of weeks, and it's become Rory. We had some good players.
That's what they forget.
Pennant, Nzonzi, John Walters, Crouchy up front. We had some. We never told anybody we were playing any football. We were just long ball Stoke. And teams, like Pete said, I can remember Wenger walking out on the pitch and he would scrape his boot along the grass. And I used to get the groundsman to roll the grass as tight as he possibly can. So from a distance, he'd look, ooh, that's not bad, that's not... And then he'd roll it and it would be about 4 inches.
By 3 o'clock, Crouch, it's gone like that.
I can remember Sir Alex coming to the ground and playing a game, and afterwards he said, Tone, the grass was so long, I actually seen a rabbit pop his head up over the far side.
I loved it. I remember seeing, I think it was either Jack Wilshere or Aaron Ramsey, I remember seeing it. I remember him looking at me and looking down at his boots, and you couldn't see his boots. Had so much grass on them.
But they were a good group of players, Pete, weren't they?
But that's it. You had a nucleus there of the characters were brilliant, and one of the best dressing rooms I've ever been a part of, and we had quality, real quality.
But isn't that the case? So if you've got good players, it doesn't matter how you play. You want to be the best footballing team in the world, well, somebody might be better than that. But if you've got a system that works, and I'd go back to me playing for Ireland under Jack Charlton.
Yeah.
Yes, we used to stick it in the corner. Yes, we used to stick it up to Quinny or Kaz. But by the way, we had some good players. You got Paul McGrath and Andy Townsend, Ray Houghton, Kevin Sheedy playing. We got good players. So, yes, we played a certain way. But when we got the ball, we could play. Or when they got the ball, they could play.
I used to
like
after training, they'd have their lunch, and I used to go in to my room, have a bit of lunch, go into the room with Kempy, and Kempy would walk in. He'd go, "The lads are they're still in the canteen." I look at my watch. It's 3:30. I used to go in there and go, "Lads, if you've not got wives or homes to go to," because they were having such a great time together. that togetherness, Pete, was.
They had got wives. That's why they weren't going home.
I got 4 kids. That's why I'm here.
But it was like that.
It was brilliant, and a real group of that got on well off the field as well. And that the problem, unfortunately, with Stoke, obviously, I was there after you left, and we had some really good years at the start, but we still had those characters, and quite often those characters, they were left out a little bit, and then they were kind of around Christmas time, you'd see them all creeping back into the team, and we ended up losing kind of one of the really good group a year, really, and then it culminated in not a good atmosphere and ended with relegation.
We talk about it all the time, about building a unity team, and it's vital.
The backbone of the team was brilliant, but I think everybody at that football club, Pete, you'll the other side from me, I used to stay away from as much from the players as possible. The great thing about the team, whether you were a young lad, whether you were in the squad or out of the squad, everybody just seemed tight together. I can remember there was a Christmas do in Hale, and we got a bus. We said, we'll get a bus. Wherever you're staying, we'll take you there and we'll bring you back. And I've rung, was it Simon Rimmer? Simon was in charge. I rung Simon up and I said, tell me if there's any trouble. Just that, I was that busy as a manager. I wanted to know if there was any. He rung me afterwards. He said, they were fantastic. The lads were absolutely, everybody seemed to be as one. And that's brilliant. You put the phone down then. And then obviously I speak to Kempy and Kempy go, what do you expect? They do it off the pitch, they do it on the pitch.
I tell you what, you've got a lovely relationship, haven't you? It must have been lovely that 3.5 years you were together.
Oh my God.
Hold on. Has anyone got a bucket here? Because there's a loving. They're going to have to get a room, these two. Sorry. Come on, I'm going to change the subject. Did you ever have the famous Tony Pulis half-time team talk? Did you ever get ripped into?
Well, you know what? Like I found, and it was similar with Harry actually as well. Like if you put a shift in, if you work hard, and if you're good around a place, like it'll always look after you, right? And I think that was kind of where I was really. And I think there was a few, maybe myself, Matthew Everington,
he was my favourite. Yeah,
That's
what the lads used to say.
Matt Everington was his favourite.
We'll get him on there.
But, I think I've seen obviously Tony rip into people, but it's deserved. I think it was players that weren't pulling their weight or taking liberties, and I think that's as long as you don't do that, I don't think you get on the wrong end of it.
I mean, I'm asking the question, and the same could be said if we get somebody who was with me, definitely.
One great thing as well, just sorry, Crouchy will talk about it. We go to Austria, and we run up the hills the one day, and the second day we go on bikes. And the bikes are about that small. and Dave Watson had come to me. He says, Crouchy's cycling and his knees are actually hitting his ears. But you come off the bike, didn't you, Dave?
Oh, my God. I'd heard about the Pulis pre-season. But to experience it was something else. And we were on the hills in Austria, yeah. And I remember we were biking up this hill, and there was a couple of good, like Robert Hoof and Dean Whitehead, calves like that. And I don't know if you've seen my calves.
No, I haven't.
No cyclist looks like this, let me tell you. Anyway, I remember, I think it was me, Kenwyn Jones, Jermaine Pennant, struggling up this hill. I said, running, fine. Yeah. Bikes, that's not for me, But yeah, difficult. But I came home from that feeling great, like ready to go. It was very beneficial.
I took them, Wolverhampton took them into the countryside there on bikes. We got mountain bikes out, and of course, 2 of them decided to have a bit of a race down. A pair of them came off. I thought, oh no. I mean, when you do something that's going to be good, a change pre-season, you get 2 guys injured. Fortunately, it was just hands and knees. But yeah, it's not for everybody. There's so much talk about set pieces, mate. In fact, you might even get back in it if you trained up. You'd be worth 100 million. They couldn't buy you.
I know. I mean, that the team we had in general, really, like everyone wanted to attack the ball. Certainly at Stoke, myself, Robert Hoof, Shawcross, Ken, whoever it was, we're piling in on it. But it's an important part of the game, and it always has been. And I know Tony's obviously a massive advocate, as I'm sure you are, Mick, as well. It's just become part and parcel of the game again. I know it never went away, but it's so. There's definitely more long balls than I think there's ever been. The long throws, especially, all the teams seem to be doing it, and it's a weapon that you can utilise. Why not?
Well, if you're throwing it, you can put it in places that you can absolutely nail it when you're throwing it, as opposed to doing it with your foot. Like most things, you can do better with your hands. I get that, but yeah, when you're throwing it in long, you can, put it exactly where you want it. Stamp people in it. I've loved watching it, to be honest. Now, and even more so loving defenders who don't like defending against it. I mean, balls come in and there's people ducking out the way and all that, and the teams that are attacking it. Brentford, he's having a great time with it, scoring goals. I've really enjoyed it, watching it again.
Yeah, it's good. And listen, Rory's, no one will ever beat Rory's throwing.
No, it's so flat.
It's phenomenal, and what you need to get was a slight nick. I see some of them now; it doesn't feel like a real long throw. But
I see some of them; they can't even describe it as a long throw, mate. They're just not into the 6-yard line.
But yeah, I mean, it's interesting the way the kind of game's going. It'll be something else next year. Do you know what I mean? The game evolves all the time.
It spins round.
Well, it was always the same. If you're chasing it at the end of a game and the ball goes out for a corner kick, there's a huge roar, isn't there, of your fans like, oh, we might score from this. Now, somebody gets to throw in 5 yards out from the byline. Oh, my goodness, it's like, we're at it again. It's a chance.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're not going to utilise it, no chance. Anyway, you'd be worth a lot more now. Tony, you left in 2013. Were you still there then when he left?
Yeah.
Was that for bad results, Tony, or what? Can I ask you first?
No, I think we
had enough?
Yeah, I think both. I think the club were looking to go in a different direction, and it was brilliant. That I'd had a great relationship with Peter and John and the coach family, and everything was. I can remember ringing me, and I went over and spoke to him about it and sat down, and everything was done. I've never had a better cutting of leaving a football club than I did there with the two of them. They were John and Peter were in there, and they were just absolutely fantastic. Everything was looked after, everything was done properly, and even to this day now, that my respect for that family and for the football club is just unbelievable.
We've seen that in all the podcasts that we've done. How did the lads feel? Were they jumping for joy or what?
No, I mean, listen, there's always a few that aren't playing.
I was joking slightly. I said jumping for joy.
but certainly not from our perspective. No. I think there's a tremendous amount of respect for what Tony achieved. I think even with the fans as well.
Love and respect for what he achieved
at the club.
Absolutely.
So that will remain.
So since retiring, you built an amazing media career, and you're here again. Did you ever have the urge to go into coaching, management? Was that?
Yeah.
Did you ever get that itch? You never thought you'd have to scratch that one?
You know what? I did my badges. I went to Newport, Wales, Dragon Park, and did them there. And I got up to my A licence.
Was that with Osher?
Yeah. Osh, and they were great.
He's at Como now.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I did my badges, and I did them with Ryan Shawcross, actually. We did them together, as Steve Sidwell. And I think, I definitely, because you never know, right? I did it while I was still playing. I thought I'll get those, and I did my podcast while I was still playing. And the pod just went crazy.
He's better at the podcast than he is at coaching.
Yeah.
He's trying to swerve that
Basically,
one up.
Yeah.
Crouchy. So am I think. It's a damn sight easier.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Sit here, ask you a few questions. Yeah. We've got a great guest in. He waffles around, chats about, entertains everybody. I go home.
Yeah. You have a laugh, right? And I think
absolutely.
That's I love doing it, and it came about by accident. Really, I did a book and I did the podcast to promote the book, and it ended up being the biggest thing that I do.
Just one thing from your career, from starting to finishing it, how much has social media played a part in the development and the direction that football's going in now? It's as a player and within football.
Yeah, I think because the players now, the top players have become brands themselves, haven't they? I think certainly managers. I think when I was playing and you were managing, it felt like the manager had all the control. If a player at Man United wanted to start a YouTube channel, under Alex Ferguson, I think which way that's going to go. And I think now the players and everyone knows kind of what's out there for them. I've seen, their own YouTube channels, their own kind of very prevalent on Instagram or, social media completely. And, it's good in some ways because the fans get access to the personality of the footballer that you're seeing rather than just the player. And I think, it is good in some ways and obviously negative in others. If I was playing now, very hard not to pick up your phone and listen to what everyone's saying about you, whereas when I played, it was just don't watch Match of the Day on Saturday night or don't pick up a paper on the Monday. And that's, you could bury your head in it a little bit, whereas now I don't think you can.
Yeah. And you've never regretted not having a go at it at all. Like talking to you, see, I've been meeting you, chatting away to you. You've got the right attitude towards it. I think you can be.
He's a people's man.
You're a people person, yeah. And you get people as a coach, as a manager. You've got to be that, and you've got to get people to do what you want them to do. So it's interesting to see you do it.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I'd like. I don't know whether it's just even coaching or helping out or being a manager. I think it's a long process. I think you can't just be a manager. I think you've got to dedicate your life to it, as you guys have. You can't just dip your toe in. And I think at the moment I'm really happy with what I do now.
Oh, it consumes every bit of your life. We've talked about it. You go home and you're chatting about it, and I keep saying about this. My wife said to me going home in the car, and I said to her, "What's up with you?" She said, "What's up with me?" I said, "You're not speaking to me." "Not speaking to me? Yeah. You'd kill me if I spoke to you."
It's
and you don't even know you're doing it. You're miles away. You're involved in your head. Talk players. How do we do it? I want to do this. Want to do that. Can we do this? What are we going to do Monday? And it's only Saturday afternoon. You're going home after the game. It is all consuming.
I mean, even when I do my badges, I think I have so much respect for coaches, for managers. It is a tough job that, for me, if one little thing went wrong as a player, in training, you'd be like, this is a shambles. Fucking hell, when you're organising numbers, all coaching yourself, my respect for coaches went through the roof, I have to say, as soon as I did my badges, because, look at the quality of the players, it could wreck your session and, all these things that come into play is, I've tremendous amount of respect.
Did that regular at Stoke.
I was a session wrecker.
The Managers with Mick and Tony is powered by BOYLE Sports, the home of the early payout. And why is BOYLE Sports the home of the early payout? I hear you ask. Well, with BOYLE Sports, if your team goes 2 goals up, you win. Job done, you're getting paid out. Singles, ACCAs, bet builders, it's all covered. And this also means that we need to reconsider some crucial games across your careers, Mick and Tony. In fact, I'm going to take you back to the Britannia Stadium, Halloween 2009, the first time Mick McCarthy meets Tony Pulis in the Premier League. Stoke go 2-0 up. But Mick, your Wolves team come back, draw 2-2. And I'm sorry, Mick, I'm taking the point off you. Because of BOYLE Sports' new laws, I'm afraid Stoke won that game. Congratulations, Tony.
Thank you.
There you go. So get paid out as a winner if your team goes 2 goals ahead, even if they go on to win, lose or draw. 90 minutes only applies to singles and multiples. 18 plus, T's and C's apply. Back yourself with BOYLE Sports, the home of the early payout. Head to boylesports.com or download the app to find out more.
Right, John, after a good weekend for me, winning 3-1, but still trailing you, we need our predictions for this week coming up.
They're all international fixtures, so I'm going Croatia, Montenegro, Italy, England. £10 returns, £17.25, including the ACCA boost from BOYLE Sports.
Good man. Well, my 4 teams to win: Germany, Norway, Denmark and Turkey. And £10 returns, £11.98, including the ACCA boost from BOYLE Sports. Finally, if you had to name the best manager of your career, is he sitting in here right now? And please don't embarrass me. Do not embarrass me.
Without that, listen, I've played under some great managers. He's right up there.
That'll do for me, John.
Without doubt.
I'll give you that money in a minute.
Crouchy, it's been a pleasure, mate.
Thank you, mate.
Absolute pleasure. Thanks for coming on.
Brilliant, Pete.
Yeah.
Well done.
Cheers,
well done.
guys.
Well done.